Wait a minute. Where am I? What is this place that we speak of? Unfan.
I thought you were hijacking the show.
I didn't do anything.
What's going on?
Only you, man. Only you.
Yeah,
so happy to be here with you. Thanks for asking.
Of course. Happy to have you on as always. I mean, you're the life of this league, so we needed some life injected in after.
Go on. No, really, go on.
God awful week 7, but we'll get to that.
A lot of upsets, but a lot of good stuff. A lot of hopeful stuff for other teams that were looking rather lackluster, right? So it's anybody's game still.
It's always anybody's game, and in the league too. So little backstory for those who don't know. John and I were kind of MIA over the last 4 days or so up in Richmond, Virginia, where we launched a trading card game for the Battle Bunnies, and we got a chance to meet a ton of people involved in that community. I mean, like it was an awesome few days, but it was not an awesome few days for my unfantasy team, as I am now officially the week 7 loser. So since John's not here to make fun of me, we figured, who else to rip on me better than you?
Yes, I would love to. It's Trevor.
And Trevor.
So, listen, I'm here for all of it to make fun of you being the weekly loser. I was a little surprised. I don't think you've ever been. Have you? You've not. This is your first time to be the weekly loser, and you strut in quite nicely, I would say. I mean, you were just guns a-blazing with how bad you picked your cards this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Billy Madison approach, right? Like, pee in your pants is cool. So, I got to own it. I got to eat it. And, I'll take it. I'll take the poundings and the lickings wherever I can. And, I'll bounce back. I'm confident in that. Because I got a pack of cards this week.
Yes. Oh, I was going to say, do you get to gift yourself a prize, even though you're the gifter of the prizes?
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't lose on purpose to not get help in the reserves. So, I'm definitely interested in seeing what cards I pull and what help I have around the corner. Because after an abysmal week this week, I definitely need it. If you want, I can actually run through the absolute worst lineup of week 7 and just kind of highlight some of my thought process behind that, because they weren't awful picks. It was just awful games. And I couldn't pull them out. So, I mean, like, Indy on my offense, that was really one of the ones that I thought would be a kind of a weird game. And it sort of was. I mean, they
showed up, man. They showed up.
Well, they showed up and lost. I mean, it was a crazy game. There just wasn't enough turnovers. And that hurt me. Defensively, who did I have on defense? I had the Giants on defense. And as we can see, like, they did their job against Washington. In fact, their defense looked great. So they pulled out negative points for me with all the turnovers that they had received. Minnesota had my special teams, and they also got me negative points. So the thumbnail of this week is Jack, celebrating beating arguably the best team in football.
Jack, he says it's frozen, but I don't know if it's still frozen. Yeah, Jack must have been really excited.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. So, but still, negative 1 points for me there.
Yeah.
Penalties. I mean, Cleveland had over 100 yards in penalties, double digits in penalty numbers last week. This week, very disciplined in a 50-point shootout total. So let me see what they raked in for penalties. A whopping 8 points for me. And then Chicago beat Vegas. So, there's -5. So I yanked out, I think, 5.5 points for the week, designating me as the week 7 loser.
I thought I was going to. Hey, Taylor. I thought I was going to be in the basement. I was hoping at this point when New England showed up and decided, like, okay, we're back and whatever we're doing, I thought I was going to be down there to win something. And lo and behold, I actually came out with the 68, which, by the way, if I may say, I was this close to changing out my New England offense for Cleveland offense, which I've been playing all year. And I said, no, if I do that, then New England they're just going to throw it and really like literally and figuratively. And then the Browns, and here we are, I could have gotten 46 points. I was, so that's the thing. I mean, I think everybody's kind of feeling that about thinking when you look at all the numbers and all the stats, you think not only just who's playing and what they've been doing, but also who they're playing against.
Yeah.
And then
48 hours ago, nobody would have predicted that Buffalo's defense would do worse than Indianapolis's. I mean, Indy had how many picks? 5 picks. Like that's 50 points for Cleveland's offense right there.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's defense didn't do anything. Like New England is the best unfantasy team statistically, and Buffalo didn't do anything this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not unjustifiable in making that selection by any means.
It was, I think, Dan. I only know him by Dan. All flag on the play.
Flag on the play all day.
Thank you. He and I were commiserating in the Telegram about. You think I was like, I felt so smart. I felt so smart with my picks. Trevor. Yeah, Taylor. He's here in the background trying to not take over the show. Have you heard about the I got to lower my mic. This is out of control. Yeah, Jack's still recovering from last night. Yeah, who's your daddy now? Woohoo!
Well, Jack made a bold prediction last week on the show when we had Brian on, and he claimed that Minnesota was going to win the Super Bowl. So he's one step closer to fulfilling that prediction. We laughed when that came through, but again, he's laughing now. So we'll see how all that shapes up as the season unfolds. Week 7 in the books, started off on Thursday night with Jacksonville, I guess, beating the hell out of New Orleans. The score, I think, was closer than what the game appeared. Trevor Lawrence, for the first time in his career, wins in that building. He did not have luck there when he played with Clemson, but he did get the job done. A much, deserved victory. I think that's their 3rd in a row. They're riding high right now, man. Jacksonville is a decent enough team, especially in a division like that.
Absolutely. I mean, they've been strong since last season anyway, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, they were 1 yard away, one fumble away from the AFC Championship game and knocking out Kansas City. So, errors at the end, I think that they definitely learned from that. They had a pretty slow start to the year, especially in some of those division games. But, that trip to London, those back-to-back games in London where they beat Buffalo and then came back and then, had a decent game against New Orleans here on the road. They won last week at home. They're on a 4-game winning streak. Excuse me. So they're doing the right thing. ETN is doing great in the backfield. Christian Kirk is doing what he has to do. I'd like to see Evan Ingram a little bit more involved in the offense, but defensively they're getting the job done. So they've earned the right to be in the discussion for AFC playoff contenders here.
1,000%. I have cards that I don't think I've ever played Jacksonville, and if I played a card once, they put me in the basement because. Well,
yeah, John made it a point last year when we were building the architecture of the league that, everybody's going to be going after Jacksonville cards because they suck. And, if you get a team of all Jacksonville cards, you're going to win guaranteed. And, it just shows that because you have these cards year after year in the various leagues that you get to play them in, they're not always going to be bad. They're not always going to be good. So, even though you have a card this year that might not be as productive for you, down the road, it still will be, and you still own it. So,
well, the OG, all my OG cards that got me to being the number 1 all time still, I think there was only 1 week that I was bumped to number 2 was because of the cards that are useless now because my OG standing is abysmal. So yeah, it's, you never know that's why they have drafts.
Yep.
To get talent and to make up for, the holes in all the lineups. But there was some, just watching the highlights, because I can't watch all the games. There were some amazing plays as usual with some of these. I don't know how these guys do it and get up and walk after some of these collisions. It's crazy. But anyway, so did you watch all the games, Mike? Or did you have a favorite game?
No, I mean, so John and I snuck away to watch the New England and the Giants game at 1:00. We were kind of in a decent bar in Richmond, Virginia, so we got to see some of the other games that were playing simultaneously, and then we had to come back and do some Battle Bunnies work, so we missed most of the 4:00 games. I did catch the highlights. Baltimore just completely demolished Detroit. I mean, that was one of the worst picks that I think I made all season, because I was riding very high on what the Lions were bringing to the table, entering that as a 5-1 team. Baltimore did not play that well the week before, and they just showed up, and Detroit couldn't do anything. They completely demolished them by 32 points. So
Shocked.
Detroit, yeah, I mean, it looked like the Detroit of old, that's for sure. But, I think that team is still talented enough to bounce back. They still have much separation in the division. Green Bay losing didn't hurt them. Chicago winning, was kind of surprising, considering, Vegas came to town and they could have easily dropped that game. And that was my win-loss card that kind of screwed me.
Well, they didn't just win. They demolished. I couldn't even believe how far ahead they were and how strong they were. I don't know.
Vegas couldn't do anything. I mean, again, the limited ability for me to watch that game, but everything that I saw, read, commented on, it was a complete and utter disaster from every level by the Raiders. Myers, I think, had the lone touchdown, but they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't stop Chicago. And, again, credit where credit's due. Chicago came through at home. Vegas, either overlooked a game like this or just, they're not a good team this year. And I think the latter is a more favorable comment.
Yeah, well, I had, George Costanza syndrome hit me hard this week, for sure, because I also picked Chicago for my win-loss. And then there were some other surprising losses too. What were some of the, San Francisco, that was, we already talked about the Vikings, but I'm still in shock that San Francisco lost 2 weeks in a row.
Yep.
So, who are they playing next? I know you have an agenda for this, so I won't hijack on who San Francisco is playing next week.
Yeah. So, I'll just take a quick look. So they are at home against the Bengals, which, may be a bounce back week, but, then again, we thought this might be a bounce back week. So they have some soul searching to do for sure. Again, I wasn't against what I saw out of Brock Purdy. I really wasn't. I think Christian McCaffrey obviously does what he does. I don't know what the answer of everything was. Obviously, I watched the game with one eye open yesterday because I was so exhausted. In fact, my wife came into the room and had to take the phone away from me because I was asleep and it was still playing the game. I don't know where they messed up. I know they have an issue with kicking now, and that's a big problem for them. They cannot have points off the board. I think they still have the best linebacking core. I still think that their receiving core is dangerous. Debo did not play yesterday. I don't know what his status is going to be heading into week 8. But overall, they're still a very dangerous team. They just, they gotta get their shit together. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Well,
there are folks saying that they thought the wake up call would have been last week when they played. I think, was it the Browns they played?
Yeah.
And then this is what happened yesterday. So maybe there's going to have to be some adjustments made. Otherwise, because just to give up that standing where they are right now is because who's so the Eagles are probably right next to them, right?
Eagles
championship
are ahead of them. I mean, Eagles are 6-1. They beat Miami in pretty decisive fashion.
They did. Oh, sorry.
So
that's your team, right? I mean, Giants. Dolphins. I don't know, like, but you live down there, so there's an alliance. Yeah.
No
No.
alliance to Miami whatsoever. I mean, I liked what I saw out of them at the beginning of the season. They've obviously cooled off. And, again, when you play against great defenses, it's, you really have to show up. And I don't think that, I mean, for minor spurts, the offense showed up, but I was busy during that game, so I didn't really get a chance to like watch it thoroughly.
Yeah.
But all I know is that Philly is still very much a force in the NFC. I'm not suggesting that San Francisco is not, but as it sits right now, Philly has the edge. They do not have 2 losses on the year. They have 1.
Yeah, indeed. So where do we want to go from here? What's your agenda? I don't know. Like, I know you do regular fantasy, so you know all the players. You get granular with that stuff. So this I cannot lend to assisting you in that capacity, but we can talk about next week games if you want.
Yeah, we can. I mean, before we jump into that, because obviously I want your picks for next week. But before we do that, I definitely want to talk about your Steelers. Did you get a chance to watch that game?
I was only able to watch half. I was only able to watch half, and it was kind of a yawn fest. I think anything that happened after I left with a pickoff. But it was like 3-3 forever. And then I had to be somewhere by 6:30. So I had to leave at 6. So I didn't really get much in at all. But they won, and then they won with 24. I was like, where did that happen? I missed the good parts, but I have always said Steelers is a second half team for anybody who, I know there's a lot of debate about that as a concept, but I've been watching the Steelers since 2004, and they typically can come back and surprise. So
I sat next to somebody on the plane who was from Pittsburgh, and he was very critical on Tomlin, which I was very surprised about. And I was like, dude, in the entire time he's been there, he's never had a losing season. Like, I give that guy credit more so than most other coaches. Maybe his in-game decision-making is not the best, and maybe that could take some improvement, but overall, year after year, the guy posts either a 500 or better season. So that is something to definitely consider when, giving credit to either the coach or the franchise.
Well, I think, armchair quarterbacking or whatever, coaching is easy to do. I have personally been impressed with him from the beginning. And I think he's, even when the team, like after Roethlisberger left, I mean, they really have been just, much more lackluster than when Big Ben was in. But I still think he's just an amazing person anyway. I don't know. That's what I see anyway. So
he's a good guy to coach. He's a good coach and a good guy that you want to play for, right?
Yeah,
and I think players resonate with that. So
he's not overly dramatic. He's not like a douchebag.
So let's run through some of the unfantasy stuff that happened this week, because obviously with all these teams on a bye and all the chaos that happened with some of these upsets, Giants are 2-5, Patriots are 2-5. A few games that definitely went the other way on what people predicted. You're sitting on top of your division.
I am
AFC. So let me see that shirt.
Well, I'm wearing the Pats this week. I wore my Steelers shirt on Sunday, but this is my 2023 season with my OG Cardinals. Kind of excited about that.
Division leading team. So
yeah, I mean,
you eclipsed the 500 point total for the season,
which was shocking because I don't know. I mean, I don't know how I'm still up there, because I know every week there are people that are clearing 100 points for the week, just 1 week alone. So I'm still like really happy about that.
Well, your penalties, like I'm looking at your overall standings, like your special teams and penalty cards have definitely come through for you. You've been slipping on the win-loss, and I think that's what's separating you from first and last, or first and fourth, I guess, in this case. But dive Eagles dive, man. They can't vacate that top spot.
Yeah.
I slipped in the standings this week just because, I am the week 7 loser, if you haven't figured it out by now. So they're the standings are still like very much again up for grabs. It takes a week like this to really jumble everything up and throw it through a blender. So
I just want to comment on Brian and because Brian and Seth would talked about OG cards. And, I went into OpenSea because I've been kind of like eyeing who else I can get, but there's nothing. Are you going to put some stuff to sell on OpenSea for us 20 OGs so we can get some cards of people that suck? Because all the teams are winning that are for sale. Or I have them. So it's like, I really wanted to get a Broncos card. Of course, now that I get them, they'll probably start winning,
We gotta trade for those, unfortunately, because
you can't list anymore.
Everything that's revealed in the season 1 collection has been revealed. So the ones that were up there on OpenSea are the ones that we had in the free agency wallet. Right. So those are the free agents from last season. So I'll talk to John and see if we can come up with a solution for that to release it, maybe, figure something out. But for now, those are the only OG cards available, unless, of course, anybody wants to trade, which we can sort of figure out ways to facilitate.
I have another question related to OG and with what you just talked about and getting new cards, getting just some fresh cards in our lineups. Is OG really kind of impacting anything other than the all-time scoring system or standings? Where are we for OGs? Like, what's going on other than maybe they're just kind of shadowed by the 2023 season?
No, in fact, it's an independent league that OG players have an opportunity to participate. So there's prizes for winning that league. They do impact the all-time stats and point totals as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously you get the accreditation for the weekly winners, the 1 yard shorts, and the weekly losers. Okay. So you get the accreditation as part of the franchise standings with that. As well as the prizes at the end of the year. So like there's a dedicated prize pool for the OG league, which I think is really, really unique.
Oh, cool.
So it's equally as competitive. And again, as part of participating this year, and again, there were some OG franchises acquired, access to that league was automatic. And you would just have the opportunity to play whatever cards you had as part of that franchise from last season. So again, it is a competitive league. There is the ability to trade. There's also the ability to trade for cards for this year. In fact, I ran a couple transactions that included cards that had, the one side of the trade was cards for this year versus, trading for OG cards. So that's a possibility as well. So we're gonna try to make over the next couple of weeks a little bit more of a push to see which ones on the OG side are willing to trade, even if that means trading for cards in the 2023 season. And we'll try to facilitate that and make sure that that's an option.
That's interesting, yeah, because I was talking to Peak View and Telegram, and my dupes, I have a couple of dupes, but we were only looking in 2023. I have 2 Atlanta win-loss cards. So I don't have that many dupes, but like my OGs, I don't know. I mean, I get it why you wouldn't want to mix and match but my OG is just sucking wind big time. I'm really happy for Lisa though, because she was top for week 7 again, I think, right? Wasn't she top for?
She was not.
She wasn't top this week? Number 1?
She was not. No, she was. That's overall, I think, what you looked at on the website. No, where my rookies at came in on top, followed by Tua B or not Tua B. And then Lisa came in at 3rd. So that's how all that played out. And the loser in that was Doug B.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I'm 5th from the bottom. That's how great I'm doing over there. I'm not even paying attention to it. I kind of check overall and all time. I really love looking at the all time because I'm number 1.
I was going to say, I'm sure you do. I keep sliding further and further down that list. It's nice to see, 2 acquired franchises in the top 3. So they're on your heels. You better keep.
No, I know.
Here.
So now with the all-time, just remind me, you said, because we did this in DMing on the Telegram, the all-time is OG plus 2023. But
Correct.
it's OG all-time. So the whole 2022 season plus 2023 season plus 2023 season, right? Of the
yeah. It's the point totals from your entire franchise history.
Okay. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of like, I am looking at OG because I know that that's going to be just like last year. I was number one till I think the last 2 weeks. And then Lisa came for me and she got me good and bumped me off.
She flew out at the end of the season and bumped her into the number one overall slot for last year. So she definitely had a leg up in getting, the kickstart at the top of the standings all time heading into this year. But, again, she needs to pay attention to both this year and the OG league in order to stay competitive all time. So, all things to look out for. And that's, again, why we wanted to create these different concepts because, there's multiple ways to play and multiple ways to win and participate here. You don't have to be the best at everything. You could be the best at a couple things each season and still have fun, still be victorious.
That's right. I think I want to change my name to Goal Stoopers. I think that's more appropriate.
Stoopers?
Stoopers. I should have. I was DMing with the guy who turned me on to the Steelers back in 2004, and he's like, "Why is your name Goal Stoppers?" I was like, because it has not. It's a term never been used in football. So, but it has to do with goals and scoring. He was like, "Oh, okay." And then that's when I was like, I should have been Goal Stoopers because it's way more silly. Like John's Show Me Your Kansas Cities. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. I love it.
Well, he was like sweating bullets for that name. I mean, I'm glad that you brought that up because, he asked me like 7 times. He's like, "Are you sure we're okay with this?" And I'm like,
"Why
yeah,
not?
Man, we're good. We have a second string Jets logo of somebody flipping flipping you off. So I'm pretty sure we'll be okay. I mean, in funny name.
The nature of parody tease, I mean, can you get even, there's no way that would not be cool. Like, it's hilarious. Yep. So I'm trying to think of what some other names that I love in our unfan. Well, Lisa's team, she changed her name too. I love it though. I can't ever remember what the whole thing is, but it's
Judon for Jonesin and Juju, something like that. I don't know. But yeah, there's a few of them. I mean, Jack, I think still has one of the more favorable ones. Straight ETH homie. I think that's definitely, he won that award last year for the best unfantasy team name. There's some good ones. Some newer teams have it. We have Dusty Boogers. I think that's a funny one. We got some good ones.
You're not first or last. Is that someone's real name? First?
No, in fact, there is a backstory to that with Brian. He was on last week. I didn't ask him that, but he did.
Brian.
Yeah, nice. He did ask me. I'm sure he'll explain it here, but he did ask me when I first set up the team. He's like, "Yeah, make sure there's like an R at the end because that's the proper way to spell it." And I was like, "Oh, so it's Firester. If you're not Firester, you're last." Okay, I guess that makes sense. I'll run with that.
I love it. I love it. So can you just explain to me one thing about, so when you say how, because I knew I wasn't going to acquire a franchise or what, I just was going to keep playing because I love playing. But how are there new franchises of new people that came in? They didn't buy an owner's pass. They bought somebody's owner's pass. Is that how it worked?
Yeah, so there was 2 options for new players this season. They could have either bought one of the available franchises that was for sale. So basically there was some owners that participated last year that knew they weren't going to play this year. So we reached out to them and said, "Hey, look, if we'll take that franchise back from you. We'll get all the cards. We'll make sure everything is in place." And then what we did was in addition to all of the standings and stats from last year, we also added the participation for this year, and that was basically, acquiring a franchise. So there was a few different, keys of the kingdom turned over to new owners this year. There was also, several new owners that did not acquire franchises that started their franchise this year. And again, they're super competitive. It's not like they're down in the basement. But their season start, their franchises record started this year versus last year.
Was there some like heavy negotiation going on with these franchises?
Negotiation, no, but there was definitely that's why if you look back at the draft video, there was a whole section dedicated to when these owners had the ability to make a selection of the team that they wanted to acquire. So it wasn't like, you just signed up and got to pick any team. We actually put that into some sort of a draft mechanism as well. And I think that worked out really, really well. We did a spin of the wheel, and then they got to, they each submitted what their franchise rankings were, the ones that were available, and whoever won the wheel got first pick of the available teams.
I must have missed that one. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Because I was thinking, with every season I mean, it's not like if I wanted to sell my franchise, right now, number one, I don't think that has any leverage to it. It doesn't matter because you can either, if you pick, you could go down, or you could even do better than how I'm doing. So I wasn't sure, like, why would someone buy a franchise versus just,
there are prizes for who's finishing in the all time at the end of the season.
Oh.
So again, like, John has more of the details on the specifics here, but the bottom line is, like, the way that this whole thing was constructed, it was designed to have winning slots in all of these various games and side games, the pick six included, right? So each week there's a prize pool with that. I think Dan actually won that one this week in decisive fashion too. Like, there was nobody that was a close second. And, again, for as weird as a week as it was with the win-loss cards, I think he was one of two people that actually got that card right. So right out of the gate, he had a massive advantage. And then Skunks was the other team that picked correctly with Arizona losing. In fact, both of them picked Arizona losing, and they were the only ones that eclipsed 30 points for the week. Like, it was just a god-awful week in the pick six this week. So
wow.
You shout out to Dan, and obviously we'll take care of that prize pool as well.
Is that Dan Nessel, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yep. He's hot for the pick six week. Anyway, I'm glad he won something, because I felt so bad for him. He was just like, oh my God, my picks.
And he's been on it for setting lineups week after week too. And, like, he'll side message me like, hey man, like, I got these cards. Like, hopefully they don't screw it up for me. And then obviously the game happens, and it's just one of those weeks where they do. He's like, my luck. I get this team. I put them in my lineup, and that's it, man. They still blow it for me.
Hey, Phil, BBS,
Blackbird Spiders.
Nice.
Missed you in Richmond, bud, but you were always there in spirit. Anyway, you ready to roll through some week 8 picks?
Wait, week 8. Let's do it. Are you going to put up the big screen?
No, we'll just rattle them off.
Okay.
So the week 8 starts Thursday. So, like, this compared to obviously the last few weeks is unique in the sense that there are no teams on a bye.
Thank God. Oh, can we just talk about how for the first time in how many weeks of over 2 seasons, I changed my OG lineup and put Dallas in for penalties. Hello, they were on a bye. I never did that. Okay. So, sorry.
Speaking of that, team captain Falcons, shout out to Taylor.
Yes. That's Taylor is captain Falcons. Oh, she won this week.
She won this week, but
ladies in the league.
She also, set a team that was on the bye in her penalty cards.
I saw that.
That just shows how valuable her. I think she had Cleveland on offense, and she had the Giants on special teams. So, like, right out of the gate, that was over 80 points. So definitely lucked out there. But with the handicap, the one team down or one scoring category down, she was able to pull out the victory. So even though the bye weeks are impactful, this one it kind of helped her. Because who knows if she set her lineup, there could have been negative points with penalties. Who knows?
Yeah, but penalties, I think penalties is a gift card. Okay. I think penalties
not this season.
There's no negatives. You
No,
can't
there's
get
not.
a
You're right.
negative.
You're right.
You can get a 0, which I
You
had
can-
done this. Arizona kind of came through with a big fat egg, week 1 or 2, I think. But I
Philly
think,
too this week. They were very disciplined. They didn't have one flag.
yeah. So you can get 0, but you can't get negative. So I consider it a gift card, and I have relied on okay, at least I'll get to this number versus that number kind of thing when it's all. Linda needs to Dude, I only drink 1 cup of coffee a day. So, yeah, no, this is just all natural nonsense. Oh, and wait, and see, I'm the chaos coordinator. Yeah. So,
And that if that's the cup of coffee that you drink for the day, I mean,
no,
wow.
this is water with lemon.
It's like, oh yeah, I only eat one donut a day, but it's the size of a house.
Yeah, it's water, but I can't have coffee. I'm a 57-year-old woman. Women know that. And also, why isn't there a ladies' league team, like ladies' league? We should have a ladies' league separate.
Well, we will set that up, and we will make sure that happens for the 2024 unfit. But we need more ladies in here, so make it happen, Linda.
I will. There's only 3 of us. That's weird. Okay.
So, all right, let's talk week 8. So Thursday night football, 2 teams that came off of a loss this past week. Tampa lost to Atlanta at home in a really good game, but they just couldn't get over the hump. And obviously Atlanta leaned heavily on their kicking game once again. We said that for several weeks. They're flying up to Western New York to face off against Buffalo, who obviously had a very poor performance against New England. And I think both of these teams are definitely in the hunt for a W. Buffalo is a heavy favored, but if you look statistically, Tampa is one of the better defensive teams in the league. They have not given up many points, and they've caused quite a few turnovers. So what's your thoughts on how this game should play out?
I think the Bills are going to bring it back, especially at home. I think they're going to, I mean, listen, the Bucks, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a close game. But I think the Bills have something to prove, and they're going to be home, so they're going to be limbering up. That's my prediction.
So you're going with Tampa to lose?
Yes.
I'm going to go with Tampa to lose as well. I don't see Buffalo losing back-to-back games. They did come somewhat alive in the second half. In fact, it was their defense that fell apart. John made comments about Mac Jones that I had prepared in case New England lost, but I'll reserve them for another time. No early game on Sunday. So
thank God.
We have a 1:00 kickoff. We do have those victorious Atlanta Falcons going into Tennessee. Tennessee's coming off the bye week. Atlanta coming off a strong division win on the road. Who do you have facing off in this one? Who do you have losing?
Who losing? I have the Titans losing.
I'm going to go with Atlanta losing this game, although I don't really have the best confidence in Tennessee. I think that the bye week might have helped them out, might have formulated a game plan. Atlanta coming off a division game, maybe they were a little distracted with preparation for that. So I'm going to go with Atlanta losing on the road there.
Okay.
Houston goes into Carolina. Houston, what did Houston do this past week? They were on a bye?
They were on a bye, and so were the Panthers. But it's a coin toss. Panthers are still winless. I have Panthers losing again. No, wait, I can't tell. I don't know what I want. I think Houston's going to win. So I think I'm going to stick to the Panthers losing.
I'm going to go with you on that. If anything, just for hopes that the epic fail card stays alive. Panthers are a winless team so far this year, and believe it or not, Houston does have a good team.
They do. They're one of those sleeper teams that kind of came out from last year. The Texans will put me over the top for my OG lineup with offense. Panthers and Texans offense card really helped me last year.
Yeah, well, they were definitely not a good team last year. But they definitely drafted Stroud, and Stroud is arguably the rookie of the year. So he's doing wonderful things there, and I think that train continues. I was just in North Carolina on 2 layovers, and there was not much enthusiasm about what they're seeing out of Carolina. Like, there's not, the paraphernalia in the shops and all that stuff. Like, you don't see a lot of people rocking Carolina shirts. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. Oh wait, Seth says he's going to get his wife in on the league. Do it, Seth.
There you go.
Do
there
it.
You go. So another addition to the ladies' league.
Ladies' league, the ladies' loser league.
Yep.
There it is. Taylor's going to brand the whole thing.
My wife's going to be in there. John's wife's going to be in there. My daughter's going to be in there. It's going to be competitive for sure.
That's it. That's happening. It's going down. We're going to take the boys down. Okay. Next
game. So we said good things about the Jaguars. However, this week they are in your neck of the well, not your neck of the woods, but your team's neck of the woods. They're facing off in Pittsburgh against the Steelers.
Ooh.
Both teams coming off a victory. Jacksonville, a little bit more of a decisive victory, both against NFC teams and both on the road. So it's going to be interesting. Does Jacksonville keep the momentum afloat, or does Pittsburgh keep the momentum afloat?
So this is my team. So cue the teardrops. I really kind of feel, I'm sorry to say that the Jags are going to win. Steelers are going to lose.
Wow, against the grain. I thought, like, for sure this would be a coin flip for you.
It is a coin flip, but if I were to, if I had to pick a win-loss card and I only had those 2 cards, I would probably pick Pittsburgh. So,
wow.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I mean, listen, I said cue the teardrop. I'm not proud, but
yeah,
I got a reputation to uphold here as number 1 all time. So.
I hear. Okay, so I'm gonna make it interesting for you here. Okay, so if your picks beat me for the year or for this week, then you get to select any one of my OG cards.
Oh my God. Okay, wait. Are you taking notes or am I taking notes?
Well, this is recorded, so we could we could always review this again. But that's a little incentive for you for the OG league. So if your picks are better than mine and if we tie, then tie goes to me. But you have to beat me. If you beat me,
wait, why does the tie go to you?
Well, you have to beat me. You have to earn that OG card. You can't. You can't win on a tie. That's not cool.
No, so then we would have to do something to. We'd have to like
the
tally
tiebreaker will be
of all the losers.
No. The tiebreaker will be if I finish higher than you in the 2023 standings.
I have to wait. You mean for the week?
For the week.
Okay.
That's only in case of a tiebreaker, though.
All right. So now I should keep track. I remember who I said I thought, but it's recorded, so that's okay. So who's next?
All right. So we got LA heading into Dallas. LA coming off that tough loss against your Steelers. Dallas coming off of a bye. Dallas came through on a pretty strong win before the bye. Then they had some time to, get healthy, recoup a little bit. I think that the Rams are going to lose this game in Dallas. I think Dallas, I think they win in decisive fashion, actually.
I think Dallas is going to win as well. So that is
high disco.
So what did we say? So it's the Chargers.
No, it's the Rams.
I mean, the Rams.
Rams at Dallas.
Yeah. So I say Rams are going to lose.
Okay. Minnesota heads up to Lambeau. Green Bay coming off a tough loss. We talked about Love last week and, Jordan Love last week. And I'm glad that Denver actually pulled out that game because it made my losing week a little bit less painful. But again, I'm not liking what I'm seeing out of him, that offense, that team in general. Minnesota's riding a little bit of a wave here. I'm gonna actually give it to the Vikings, man. I'm gonna say the Packers lose at home.
Really? They're coming off a bye. No, they're not.
Minnesota's coming off arguably the biggest win of their season.
I hope Jack isn't still here. I think the Vikings are going to lose. I think they had a good run, but I think they're going to lose. So,
all right, you got a lot riding on these picks now. Remember that.
I know. Now I'm sweating. Now I need more coffee.
New England comes down to Miami, which I thought was kind of weird. So, like the Dolphins and the Patriots usually play one of these games in January, either in the nice, cool, relaxing weather of Miami in the winter, or the ice frigid temperatures of New England. But looks like they're getting both of those games out of the way early this season. Patriots obviously coming off a big division game, division win at home against Buffalo. Miami getting rocked in Philly, drops their record to 5-2. Miami is still very much a force to be reckoned with offensively. We'll see if this sparks New England, but I don't see them coming to Miami and doing much. So I'm going to say that the Patriots lose.
I think New England did well. I think it was an anomaly, and I think the Dolphins are going to spank them a little bit. Yep.
All right. Well, we will see. If John were here, he would defend whatever life is still breathing in New England's season.
Yeah.
New Orleans goes into Indy. Indy coming off a really tough loss against Cleveland.
Really tough. And I think, well, what do you think?
Well, I think that, the Colts are happy that Myles Garrett is not on the other side of the football, because Cleveland's defense was really only as good as him. He blocked a field goal. He had sacks. He had strips. He basically did everything in that game for Cleveland defensively. So it'll be interesting to see how Indy's O-line bounces back, whether they can establish a run game. New Orleans has a good defense too. They do have an extended break because they did play on Thursday Night Football. I didn't like what I saw from them offensively against the Jags. But, I think that with a little bit more prep time, and obviously, coming off of a less bitter loss than what Indy just went through, I think the Saints come in and actually win that game. I'm taking Indy to lose.
I think the Saints are going to lose.
All right.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I'm sorry. Yes, I think the Saints are going to lose. Yeah. Yep. I think the Colts, they want it bad the way they're playing. So I think they're going to put up a good fight.
Battle of the Meadowlands, Jets versus Giants. So the Jets coming off the bye. Giants obviously coming off of a big division victory against the Washington no names, Commanders, Orange Skins, whatever you want to call them. For what it's worth, I think that Tyrod Taylor has played way better than Daniel Jones. So if Daniel Jones is slated to come back, I'm going to say the Giants lose. If Tyrod Taylor plays, I'm going to say that the Jets lose. So that's where I'm going to go with that.
You cannot have it two ways. No,
100% I can. Because
you cannot. You can't have.
I just gave the pick. It's all dependent on who plays.
But no, because I'm not going to be sitting here remembering. Wait, who's who and who's playing what, where, why, and how.
Okay, look, it's very simple. Ready? If Daniel Jones plays, my pick is the Giants lose. If Daniel Jones does not play, then the Jets will lose. My whole pick is riding on Daniel Jones play. That's it.
Okay,
that's it.
I think the Giants are going to lose. And I like Brian's comment about always take Indianapolis to lose. Yes, except for when I pick them, they win. Because I have their win-loss card.
He picked with the heart last week and didn't work out in his favor. Although he did say that he had a 7-5 record on picks. I did not have time to go through my picks. I will go through this. Actually, the last 2 weeks of my picks and post them in the Telegram and in the Discord channel on the Battle Bunny server, just so that they, the abysmal disaster that I have selected over the last 2 weeks are at least on the record. So we will, yes, Jack, I definitely need more coffee. I'm working on 3 minutes of sleep over the last 4
You can have some of mine.
Definitely. Okay, so you're going with the Giants to lose. Mine is contingent on Daniel Jones playing or not. So let's bust through the remaining games here.
Okay.
Last 1 o'clock game on the early slate, we have the Eagles victorious last week, heading into Washington to play off against the defeated Commanders. Division games are always tough. I think that Washington might definitely show up to play. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Philly takes this and Washington goes down again. See,
this is where I flounder, because like all season when you have these strong teams, like we're seeing it now with San Francisco, like it was, I mean, I was kind of like looking at San Francisco as undefeated, even though they went even this week, yesterday, right? So now with the Eagles, but they're so strong. But the Commanders, like, they have some fight in them this year, if I recall from last year. I'm going to say the Commanders. I wonder if the Eagles lose. I want to say the Eagles lose. But I'm afraid. All right, I'm going to just say the Commandos. I'm going to say
Commandos. Whoa.
I'm going to say the
We know where your head's at.
All right, I'm going to say Washington loses, but know in my heart that I would not be surprised if this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that if Washington wins, I said it here first, and then I'm picking Washington. But if they lose, I'm picking the Eagles.
Whoa. You just gave me hell because I gave a contingency on the Giants-Jets pick, and you're just throwing the coin. Heads I win, tails you lose. That's your pick?
I'm just saying, if someone plays, then they're going to win. If you get one, I get one. And this is going to be one of those that if the Eagles lose, this is the game they lose to the team you would never expect them to lose to. So that's all I'm saying.
So who's your pick?
God damn it. All right, I'm going to pick Washington to lose.
Okay, done. Sealed.
Okay.
Signed, delivered. Right. 4 o'clock games begin out west. Cleveland, coming off of a very high victory, heads into Seattle, who came off of a pretty sneaky division win against the Cardinals at home. Always a tough place to play, always a tough place to fly to, especially from the East Coast. Cleveland's riding a pretty decent enough train. Watson went down again. I don't know if he'll end up playing with it. But, Seattle, I still like what I see out of that team, even though they've had some interesting weeks. But I'm going to say that Cleveland takes this one down and Seattle blows it at home.
Really? Okay. I'm going to say Cleveland loses.
This one's for you.
Too close for comfort. It's too close for comfort with the Browns. I mean, they really kind of come up this year with a surprising performance, right? So, but I think it ends here with the Seahawks. Okay.
Baltimore goes out west to another NFC West team in Arizona. Baltimore obviously coming off of a monster victory against a 5-1 team in Detroit. They are now playing the Cards. Cardinals did not look impressive up in Seattle. Again, I didn't see the game. I only saw highlights of it. But I think that this won't matter. I think Baltimore definitely is starting to click, and they are going to continue that train. Arizona loses at home.
Same.
Cincinnati goes to another NFC West team in San Francisco. We touched on this briefly a little bit before. Cincinnati coming off of the bye. 49ers coming off of their second loss in a row, second loss of the season. Obviously, Cincinnati had an extra time frame to prepare. San Francisco is a little banged up. CMC, although he scored, he's definitely still, ginger from the week before. They still don't have Debo back. They might get him back. I don't know. Either way, I can't see this team losing 3 games in a row. I got to go with Cincinnati losing.
There's no way that San Francisco is. No. Yeah. Bengals lose. I have no words. Okay.
Chiefs playing their second division game in a row. They had a pretty interesting battle against the Chargers at home. This time they go to Mile High. Denver coming off of a pretty fought win against Green Bay. Pretty hapless team in Green Bay. I think this is a David versus Goliath where, it's not going to be a biblical story. It's just going to be a biblical apocalypse for Denver. Denver loses this one big at home.
Yeah, Denver loses too. I'm with that too. Wait, so we're kind of like almost samey now. We're
okay. There's going to be differences, and again, tie goes to me. So, Chicago goes to LA. Faces off against the Chargers.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm just looking here. Why am I not? Oh, Bears are losing. I know they won, but they are losing. They're losing.
I'm with you on that. I still like what I see out of LA. They're not the same, I find ways to win close games like they were last year. And I think that's really what kind of set them up last year. Although they didn't really make the playoffs because they blew it at the end to Vegas. But I still feel that they are a much better team than Chicago. Chicago's not a team that goes on winning streaks. It's just not a team that does that. So according to Jack, I'll steal that comment from you. Bye Chicago. There's no chance here.
But then again, the no chances. I mean, that's how a lot of us felt with. I'm trying to think if I had any win-loss cards that lost. I think I had Arizona. I think that's the only card that of the teams that lost. I
didn't have luck at all with my teams. I had the Giants obviously as my wild card. Carolina was off, so I had very slim pickings. And Chicago I thought for sure Chicago was that team, and they weren't. So, but speaking of the team that they beat, and speaking of the team that beat the Chargers to get into the playoffs last year, the Raiders go to Motor City and face off against the Lions. Now the Lions are a very good home team. They're a very good team overall. They need to have a very short memory about the ass kicking that they just took in Crabtown. I think the Raiders are lost. I think that they have a lot of problems. I think that Garoppolo, if he comes back, is not even the solution to those problems. So I'm going to say that the Raiders get annihilated here.
Absolutely agreed. Besides, the Lions got annihilated this last week, and they've just been playing too well for them to come back and let that shit happen again. So they're a good football team. Jack earmuffs. They're the best team in the NFC North by far. I don't think anybody comes a close second. If anybody it is, it's going to be Minnesota making a run at the end of the season like this. He said it. Not me.
Yeah, I just think that Detroit is too good of a football team to have that game in Baltimore be the deciding factor of what type of team they are for the season.
Yeah.
So that's the weekly pick. So again, everything kicks off on Thursday, rolls into Monday night, which is the night before Halloween. So no Halloween games this year, but definitely a Halloween weekend game. What do you got going on this weekend? Any exciting plans? Going to catch the games at all?
We have so many little parties for Halloween, and I'm not even a big Halloween person, even though I'm originally from Sleepy Hollow, New York. Headless Horseman, Ichabod Crane, the whole 9 yards, and it's gonzo down there with all the Halloween that's going on. But we have something this Thursday at the library. There's a Sleepy Hollow Trail, ironically enough. So, and then a party on Saturday, a party on Sunday, a party on Halloween. Yeah. So we're going to be, and we have, so we got costumes every year. I go very low effort, low maintenance costumes where you just kind of pull it over you. And so I'm going to be a flower because I'm a fragile fucking flower, and Trevor's going to be a bee. So that's really, last year we were peanut butter and jelly.
Okay.
What about you? You have kids. So it's got to be big.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it sounds like you're having way more parties than me, and I have kids. Funny story about Sleepy Hollow. I got taken off that football field in an ambulance.
That's right.
When we were playing against them, I played for Ossining. At the time, they were the Ossining Indians, and got taken off the field and brought to Phelps, and actually returned to the game. So it's all about heart at the end. Forget about the injuries.
I knew you were a machine, Mike the Machine.
Yeah, I just needed a couple oil spurts and I was back in it. But
look at Jack. You're so cute. He thought I was going to be Barbie. No,
no, we're actually the whole family's going to be the Nightmare Before Christmas. My daughters love this for the last 2 years. And she's going to be Sally. My son is going to be Jack. My wife is going to be the mayor. My dog is obviously going to be Zero. And I'm the boogeyman. So we'll see how that all plays out, but it's going to be fun.
Take lots of pictures and post them in the Telegram. And everyone who's still watching here who have kids, and if you dress up, we want to see pictures all the pictures, even if you have babies. Taylor, I think you have a baby. We need pictures. It's so fun. I love other people's babies. I love when other people have kids. I love when other people get married.
And yeah, so let's let's take some photos of those shirts too. I mean, I think at this point everybody has them. If not, then they were in your mailbox and somebody stole them. But I'm gonna start wearing mine around town. I wore a couple to the supermarket. Actually, I wore the tiny one through the airport on the way to Richmond. Got a couple people to give me second looks. A couple people asked for photos of it. It is a head turner, that's for sure. So enjoy them.
Pictures in the Telegram. I did a video of mine, but don't leave me out there alone doing video. And come on, let's get your shirts on.
Well, John might think you're a good luck charm. I mean, we send you the Patriots unfan shirt, and they're on a winning streak now, right? So one game.
No words. I have no words.
So, all right. Well, listen, this has always been fun. This is always fun, but it's even more fun when you're here.
Thank you so much for asking me, and thanks for everyone being here, and Jack and Brian and Seth and Taylor and DJ and Phil. Who else was there? I couldn't join the chat because I didn't want to I didn't want to knock myself out of the whole broadcast. So I usually like to make comments, but thanks for everyone for being here. Thanks, Mike, for asking.
You made all of your comments towards me. So I was the firing squad today. And rightfully so, because I am in fact the week 7 loser.
You are the biggest loser. Yes.
So yes, I am the week 7 loser. Congratulations to everybody. We'll get the award card sent out. Some of them are already sent out. We'll have free agency open. Again, kickoff is Thursday night, Buccaneers against the Bills. So if you have any teams in those lineups that you want to swap out, make sure they're done before Thursday. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
A great holiday. Enjoy
Thanks,
those parties.
Everybody. Ciao.
Take care.
Bye.